Hello to all of my BPTV fans, YouTube fans, and Facebook fans. My allergies are bothering me a little bit right now, so I'm a little off, but I'm Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. I'm honored and blessed to be doing my 69th The Talking Machine show, and I have another great guest. Will you please introduce yourself?
My name is James Bukovac. I am a mortgage loan officer here in the South Hills.
No, it's great. We've been friends for I don't know how many years. You always put positive stuff out like I do.
On Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. I just met you a couple weeks ago, I think.
Over at Office Depot.
Right here in Bethel Park.
Yeah.
Support our local businesses, even though they're national chains.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I'd wanted to get you on the show because we did talk once or twice before about your business.
Mm-hmm.
And where were you born at?
I was born in Crafton.
I know it. It's right near where I grew up in Greentree.
Yeah. As the crow flies, probably a mile away.
I'll bet.
You were right across the parkway from the Marriott.
Yes.
Yeah.
I told you that. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I went to St. Philip's High School, or St. Philip's Grade School down in Crafton.
I know where it's at.
And then
Know
I went
the area.
to Canevin High School, right up the road.
A good friend of mine, 4 houses down from me, Mark Canavy,
Yeah, I recognize the name.
grew up with me, and nice kid, nice sister, nice family. I delivered papers to their house. So it's funny how it's a small world.
Yeah. At Canevin, I was in the marching band, the concert band, the jazz band.
Wow.
And then upon high school graduation, 3 of my friends and myself told our parents that we were going to take a bike ride. And back then it was 10-speed bicycles.
Yes.
Take a bike ride to up to Lake Erie, Prescott.
No way. I love it up there. I
that's
went
what we
there
told-
boating and stuff.
That's
yeah.
what we told our parents, but we had other plans. Our
Oh, my
destination-
goodness.
Our destination was Lake Ontario.
That's Canada.
That's Canada, yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Well, the reason why is we were in the band and reciprocating bands. One band from up there came down here, and we went up there. And one of our guys had a liking for one of the females from
It's
that
all
band.
about a girl.
All about a girl. That's it.
Carry on. What
so
happened?
We went up there. Oh, even
Where'd you start at?
start right here in Crafton.
Okay.
Okay. On the first day, we're up in Evans City. We had to get off at 19 because the cars were too much. One on the back road started to rain, and my one friend.
And you guys just had maps.
Yes, that's all we had back then, just maps. Right.
So you got rain and everything. Mm-hmm. My daughter's up in Zelienople, and Evans City's right there.
Yeah, and my friend turned his front wheel too fast, and he went down, ripped up his elbow, and he got 12 stitches in the elbow.
You had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, the guy that almost ran him off the road put him and his bike in his car and took him to whatever hospital's up there, and fixed them up. Had to call his parents to get permission to get him in the ER, get him all stitched up. But got him all stitched up, and we kept on going.
So you guys were stubborn.
Yeah, we had a goal. What we're going to do. We told our parents back home the fact that we're going. The day before, I rode my bike from Crafton over to Middletown Road.
Yeah.
And back. And when I got back, I was on the front porch. I was heaving. My next door neighbor said, "You're never going to make it." He said, "When you get to Westview Park,
Yeah.
give us a call. We'll come pick you up." You know. Well, we couldn't let anyone put anyone down.
Right.
Third day, we're riding between Lake Erie and Buffalo. One of my friends looked over this way, thought he saw a sign that said breakfast, and he put his left foot through my back spokes, broke like 5 spokes.
No way.
We got around, we fixed them all up, bandaged the thing up, and we kept on going.
Were the baseball cards still in the spokes?
No, they weren't
Just
there.
kidding.
We left them at home.
Good.
I got a lot of those at home.
Understand. I thought you might.
Yeah, so 4
now
days up
you're,
there.
Now, and Buffalo means you're right near Niagara Falls.
Right, yeah. In fact, the girls' parents lived, their backyard was on Lake Ontario. They had a long backyard.
How cool is
2
that?
football fields, and all of a sudden it was a
I've
hillside.
been to the Canadian side with Niagara Falls, and that's the best. Their parks and shops and everything are amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, what an area.
So we stayed a week there, then turned around and headed south.
And the parents never knew.
Oh, no, they knew. They knew. In fact, once we got to Lake Erie and we kept on going, the young man who had the crush on the girl up there, her parent, back then we didn't have cell phones. We called
Right.
one parent and they would call the other 3 parents. So when the one parent found out, the parents of this DJ, the parent even said, we should have him arrested because they didn't want him going up to meet the girl.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't happen. So,
Wow.
so a lot of neat things. And along the way, my best night's sleep was on a wooden picnic table. No bugs, no stones coming up underneath, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 17. You can do those.
At
things.
17 years old, best night of sleep ever. What a story. James, thank you for that.
Many other bike rides after that, but we won't go there.
Not as long.
Yeah, not as long. Not as long.
We got that clarified.
Yeah. Okay.
So in high school, did you want to go on to college?
Yes, I did.
What was your plan?
I'm not sure it was my plan. It's my parents' plan.
Well, they usually guide us.
Yeah. So I went to Duquesne University in town,
What were you studying?
majored in accounting and finance.
Okay, because you were prone to that.
Yeah. And commuted from Crafton to Duquesne. Take a bus from Crafton to down by Horns. Remember Horns?
Yes, I do
And then
remember
walked
Horns.
up from Horns up to the bluff.
Working at the Post-Gazette and Press, I remember walking there to shop and the Christmas tree and other things up there. And, Gimbals and Kaufmans were big back then, so you had the big three.
Yeah.
So you're at Duquesne, you got your degree. You did it in 4 years?
4 years.
Well, that's good. You're on the right program.
Yeah. And then I got a job as an accountant and worked for about 3 years doing
Who'd
that.
you work for?
An affiliate of Pittsburgh Brewing Company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And,
They were big back then.
Yeah, they were. And I wasn't too fond of accounting at that time. So I got a part-time job working for a mortgage lender.
Whoa.
And at that time, the mortgages, the rates were falling and refinancing was the big thing.
And what year was that?
That was back in
Well, when did you graduate from Duquesne?
79.
Okay.
So,
and I graduated 74 and you graduated 74 in high school. We talked about that.
So
Sorry to skip
It's
over.
probably like 82, 83, something like that.
Don't get me started about mortgages then. I got a great story after you tell yours.
Yeah. So I was doing it part-time, and I liked it so much that I got offered a job as a full-time mortgage loan officer and doing all those refinancing. Eventually, it transitioned from refinancing to purchases.
Well, we had something called high inflation then too, right?
Yeah. And also the interest rates were just, on the
I'm glad
very
you
high
brought
side.
that up since I can segue to 1983.
Okay.
August of 1983, my ex-wife and I wanted to get a house in Bethel. We looked around. We found one. The cheapest rate we could get was actually from Mellon Bank, who was notorious for expensive rates, was 12%.
Yeah, right.
That was my first mortgage, 1983. For all of you that think mortgages at 6% are too expensive, I would have killed to get that.
Right. And what people don't realize about mortgages is over the last 30 years, 35 years, the average interest rate is 8%. So rates right now
We're
today,
historically low.
yeah, today around 6 3/4, 7%.
I have what's called a BS detector. It reads between the lines. And when I hear all the propaganda, I just go by the numbers.
Yeah,
And numbers don't lie.
yeah. I can remember my first customer I had was an attorney that worked for the FDIC in downtown Pittsburgh.
Nice.
He had a second home at Hidden Valley. And I went to his home. It was up in Ingomar. As an attorney, he started taking his pen and going on the column. He said, I don't like this. So I'm going to cross it out and do this and that kind of stuff. And,
Right.
I just said to him, I said, sir, if you change anything, you're not getting this 9% rate.
Right.
He says, okay. And he starts signing.
So you started with the one, and then what happened? You loved it.
I loved it and got into a market up in the North Hills and eventually found out a little loophole in the mortgage guidelines, that kind of stuff. Up in the North Hills, there were a lot of townhouse plans being built and condominiums being
With
built.
all the farmland being sold
Right.
and people moving there, that was a prime time.
Right. And I found a loophole where I was able to get people to get a mortgage with these condominiums, because condominiums generally require 10% down payment, and I got something for a 3% down payment. Wow. So I was able to get financing to a lot of people who were when these condominiums and townhouses were first being built.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and Shortly after, they built the 279,
Yes.
and the fact that from
It
Wexford
boomed.
to Oakland was like 20 minutes. So a lot of the medical community was buying townhouses.
Friends of mine, doctors, nurses, all live there.
Yeah,
Musician friends of mine and everything. They're all out there.
yeah,
They tell me to move out there. I like it here in Bethel Park.
yeah, yeah.
No, hey, you hit it right. Perfect timing, right? I believe in God, and God has a plan for us. Your plan diverted perfectly.
Yeah.
And what's the secret to your success then, with you starting out as an
Secret to my
accountant?
success. Let's see here. I guess just diligence, consistency.
Right. Those are big things. And how long have you been doing this now? And you're still active.
Still active. I cap it at 25 years. Let's just stop at 25 years. It's probably
Really?
more, but let's just stop it there.
Hey, I'm not going to argue with your personal beliefs. They're yours. Even though it's like 40 years. So I can do a little bit of math, but I
Yeah.
wanted your numbers. No, I respect what you do. Being in the business, can I say cutthroat? It's such a cutthroat business, and it's been that way over the years with banks and other people in it. And just the mortgage lending business has gone through so many upheavals, I'll say.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing
And
is,
misinformation. Let me put
yeah.
out there's, I would bet that's one industry that has more misinformation than almost any other.
and back in 1996, I can remember meeting with an account rep, and they were talking about these new loans.
Yeah,
And much have heard them called subprime loans.
I've heard of them.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
witnessed them.
And this guy said that they had a loan that you could do stated income, stated assets. It was really meant for self-employed people, okay? But they start selling them to everyone.
Well, you know what goes in my mind? Called a red flag. That means you're saying what you make and whatever else you do, there's no documentation.
That's right. That's right. So you could have someone
So
working at
how did this even get past anybody?
Yeah.
I'm just a layperson.
right. It shouldn't
And
have.
that means, like, I'll be honest with you, I'm straight up with facts, but I know plenty of people that they go, what are you talking about? This is what I believe. And it's not the truth.
Right.
How do you deal with that?
Well, I tried not to do too many of the subprime loans because the subprime loans were being offered at a lower interest rate than the conventional loan.
Of course, they want to sell it.
That's right. That's right. And,
I know stuff.
And in addition to that, the subprime loans were marketed as a 228. It was basically a 30-year amortization, and for the first 2 years, the customer would get a cut rate and payment, and at the start of the third year, then it would switch to a adjustable.
So it's going to go up.
It's going to go up. And the idea they try to sell to people, the fact that this person that doesn't have as good a credit today will fix their credit over those 2 years, and then in the third year they can refinance into a conventional loan. Well, that never happened because people didn't fix their credit that quickly.
Well, I work with all kind of people and stuff, and I understand that perfectly because people would go to me. I bought my first building before my 21st birthday.
Wow. Wow.
And I saved up money and had good credit, and I knew how to build your credit up and get credit cards. I got credit cards with all the Gimbals, Horns, Kaufmans, gas card.
Yeah.
And I even did a couple tricks where I'd borrow a few $100s and I'd make 3 to 6 payments and pay it. So I had like excellent credit. I had an American Express at 20 years old. And I bought my first building at 21.
Wow.
So, I was doing that, and they're
Do you
like,
still own it today?
no, I sold it and made
Okay.
I doubled the buyer's price of it, and I only put like 6,000 down, so I made a great profit on that. And I bought another building also then. Then I got married, bought a house, and got that 12% best mortgage in
Yeah.
1983. So yeah, and I paid
Is that the house you own now?
No,
Okay.
my ex-wife lives in there and paid the mortgage off in 15 years because
Good.
I know how to do some of that stuff. Not that I'm an expert. I got the expert here. How do they get a hold of you?
How do they get hold of me? My phone numbers.
Yeah.
Best way to call my cell numbers 412-377-1370.
Just repeat it because I'm old.
Okay, 412-377-1370. 1370.
He works 7 days a week.
Well, I answer my phone 7 days a week. I don't actually. My sister used to work at Mercy Hospital. She would have to go there in person and be at the hospital. I can be anywhere my cell phone is.
Well, your office is right with you.
Yeah. So if I
So I wasn't misspeaking,
Yeah.
but thanks for correcting me on
this
that
weekend
issue.
we went up to Conneaut Lake.
Yes.
So as long as my phone's with me and I have my laptop and high-speed internet, I can do my job anywhere.
There you go.
So what I try to do is when someone calls me, and what I always say is I like to get people to call me well before they're going to go out and look at a home. Too many times people start looking at homes on Zillow or whatever, and they start seeing homes, and then they only think about the last thing, like buying a car. Let's look at the car, see what we want, and then go for the financing. I like to get them completely underwritten up front.
You've told me you're like a pre-approval guy.
Right. So
Or you are a pre-approval guy.
Well, you have to get a pre-approval these days to make an offer on a home.
Okay.
So I'd rather talk to the person, let's say now, like July 31st, and then get them pre-approved and not look at a home till maybe the 5th to 7th of August to make sure everything is in line.
Wow. You heard it here first. Call James.
Because so many times self-employed people, they might have $100,000 on their Schedule C, the gross receipts, but after they take off all their expenses, the number goes over to their front page of their 1040, adjusted gross income, ends up being like $10,000.
AGI.
AGI, that's it, yeah.
You got to watch the AGI. It keeps you out of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and there's so many times I've had clients where I, got their stuff, a self-employed person, and I see that number on the AGI is so small, and I'd have to talk to their accountant next year and say, here's the number I have to have for this person to buy a house.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you can work towards that.
That's right.
Using the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just want to put that out there. Here's the expert. You got the inside scoop. Do you have a website? We can put it up in the credits.
Yeah.
You don't have to mention it. If you just like the phone number, remember that phone number.
Right. That's the best thing to call me first, because what I do is I spend about 10 or 15 minutes with you on the phone. I have a little cheat sheet I've created, go down through it, ask pertinent questions. Generally, by the time I fill out this little cheat sheet, I have a good idea whether I can get someone a loan or not.
Well, you have a bunch of questions that you always ask. We don't have to go into all that.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I do this up front.
No, but I just want them to know, because I'm here to support you on this. And by the way, he talked more than the talking machine when we had our first discussion on the phone.
That was true.
He beat me by 18 words. I was counting. No, that's close.
You did a good job. You got me to open up. Right?
You said you never open up like that, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
No, we had a great time, and that's why I wanted to get you on to explain how you can help anybody. Like if you feel hopeless, some people are so beaten down, you have bad things happen to you from health, wealth, and illnesses. He can talk you through the whole thing. He has programs for everything.
Just to tell you a story about something.
We're going to share stories, yes.
Okay. So I had this guy a couple years ago that W-2 income employee, married, one child. He went to three mortgage lenders in the South Hills area, and 3 companies turned him down.
Okay.
Instead of them calling him on the phone to tell him he was turned down, they sent him a letter in the mail. It's called a standardized form called a statement of credit denial. A box is checked off: insufficient income, insufficient credit. They wouldn't. He had no idea. Why am I getting turned down? I'm paying my bills. I got a good job and all.
Yeah.
So a real estate agent referred him to me. As soon as I looked at his credit, I knew exactly what was wrong.
What was it?
He had a lien on his credit report for $33,000 of unpaid payroll taxes. The only way you could have unpaid payroll taxes is if you're an employer, not an employee. So I told him, I know what you're going to have to do to fix this. Take a day off of work, go to the Allegheny County Courthouse, go to the Prothonotary's office, and prove to them that lien is not in your Social Security number. He went down there, he called me when he was there. He got 2 documents proving it wasn't his Social Security number. I got those 2 documents to my credit agency.
That is brilliant.
About 10 days later, it came off his credit report. His credit score went up by 120 points. A month later, he bought a home.
There you go.
If I didn't have the formula how to help him, who knows when he would have bought a home.
Well, the knowledge and where to go.
Right.
And that's how easy it is. See the Prothonotary.
I didn't know how to do that when I first started, but years later, I've developed all this
Well, in
experience.
25 years, James, you had to learn something.
I did a thing or two.
Yeah,
Thing or two.
and you've done that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, do you have another story that's apropos with how you could help somebody that's
Yeah.
frustrated?
Yeah, so I had a lady a couple years ago that she was 55 years old, had just got engaged, had rented her whole life. Upon getting engaged, she said to me, she said, James, we want to buy a home, we don't want to rent. I looked at her credit score. Her credit score was like 560,
Yeah.
and she had about $30,000 between collection accounts and maxed out credit cards.
Okay.
The saving grace there was her fiance had about $40,000 in savings. So I said to the two of them, I said, meet with me on a Saturday, sit down in person, I'll make screenshots of my credit report, and I'm going to give you a game plan what to do. And if you follow my
So
game
you
plan,
have a strategy for them to use to help themselves.
right, exactly.
See James.
Mm-hmm.
And did they listen?
Yes, so we met
Is
at
that what people have to do? Listen and
Listen.
follow through?
right. We met at a Panera. I think it was in Bethel Park, it's right at the entrance of South Park.
I've been there.
Yeah, we met there on a Saturday afternoon. I gave her my game plan, and to my surprise, 5 days later, she called me and she did everything I asked her to do.
Wow.
Paid everything off.
Was the debt wiped out?
Yes, yes. the
I,
debt was wiped off.
I was thinking with 40,000 there, you got maneuverability. How'd I
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, so
And that gives you flexibility.
yes, so the debt was all wiped out. I waited 45 days for the credit agents or credit report or
Yeah, to
credit
catch
companies
up.
to hit the credit report. And then when I looked at her credit score went from 560 to 680.
Wow.
Okay. That day I approved her to buy a home for $350,000. Within 2 days she was under contract.
2 days.
2 days she found a home and made an offer.
You're quick on this. What
closed-
strategy?
She closed 5 weeks later. So there's someone who rented her whole life,
Right.
now wanted to own, and we found a way to help her.
That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Have you done this type of thing with you in your homes? Have you bought a couple homes, or do you live in a same home that you first bought or whatever?
I'm
Just to
married.
get personal.
I'm married to my beautiful wife Janice.
I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. So
Tell her what you said about the last name here, folks.
about the last name,
Your last name.
Bukovac.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So when we got married, before we got
This is
married,
a great story.
I said to my wife, her last name was Roth, R-O-T-H, and I said to her, I says, you may want to keep that name. You might not want my name because people can't spell it or pronounce it. But she was a traditionalist, and she decided to take my name. Years
Yeah.
later, she said, oh my, that was the worst mistake she made. People cannot spell this, they cannot pronounce it. So just past June, was that a month ago, we celebrated our 28th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations. Many more.
The years have gone by so quick, and I can still have visions in my mind seeing her walk down the aisle in the church.
Right,
know?
right. Well, she's a smart woman. She made the right move here. Spell your last name just to prove.
B like in boy, U-K-O-V, V like Victor, A like Apple, C like Charlie.
And say it.
I say it Bukovac.
Bukovac.
You've heard of a battery called Rayovac?
Yeah, I used to buy
Yeah.
them.
So it's Bukovac.
Bukovac.
Yeah.
We got a little lesson on who he is, James Bukovac. You got the phone number. You better give him a call. Well, we got about 4 minutes left, so
Yeah.
any more information on how they can be successful working with you?
Well, what I always say is my belief is if I get someone who's been working 2 years continuously,
Okay.
and they're paying their bills on time today, okay, I can counsel them so they can fix whatever bad stuff may have happened in the past. People come out of college and they had credit cards, they didn't pay them,
A lot
let
do,
them go.
yeah.
You know, sometimes even student loans, what's happened in the whole thing since COVID and that kind of stuff, not knowing when to pay them, when not to pay,
Right.
that kind of stuff. So I'll counsel people and give them
You
my
don't
advice.
mind working and doing that for them.
Not at all.
It's
not at
part
all.
of your business.
I'll just tell you a quick story. I met a guy over at Bally's, used to be over here by Village Square.
Yes.
Okay, and this
It's
one,
still empty.
yeah, so they ripped. I'm so sorry they ripped that building down. I love that place.
Yeah, a lot of people.
And I met this one gentleman there, and he was looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Wow.
Muscles coming all over the place. We met and that kind of stuff.
And you helped him.
Eventually, I did. Yeah. One day, we go. They had a really nice sauna. We'd go in there and chat about different things. And one day, he said to me, "He's James." He says, "I got some real problems. I've had bankruptcy, foreclosure, divorce, blah 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 blah."
What a
I met with
list.
him, Took about a year to fix his credit, but eventually got his credit up to 720. He was a contractor and he helped people do small improvements on their
Yeah.
home. He eventually bought a home, with my assistance, getting his credit score up.
That is great. We segued in the last 2 minutes. We got 1 minute to go. I want you to tell how to inspire people to do business and be an entrepreneur like you and what it takes to do that.
Well, you have to love what you do.
Okay?
You know?
The passion.
The passion, yeah. You have to do something that you love. Because I know so many people work in downtown Pittsburgh, they wouldn't touch their cell phone from Friday at 5 to Monday at 9.
Right.
So you got to love what you do and just work at it and get good at it. Perfect your craft.
Well, I got to add one other thing. He's one of the most consistent guys, and he never quits.
Yeah, that's
Don't
right.
ever think about quitting. That's how I read you. You don't quit on anything. Look at what
right.
you solved. The few stories you said were great,
Yeah.
and they're all true, folks.
Yeah, I don't have time, but I can tell you about a lady got this barred. while I
Make
was
it
trying
short.
To help her parents. A lady wanted to help her parents who lived on Neville Island, and there was a lady that filed Chapter 13.
Yeah.
And I kept on saying to the attorney, let's make it a Chapter 7. And she dragged her feet for about a year. All of a sudden, I was reading the Tribune Bureau one day, and all of a sudden, this attorney got disbarred.
Guess what? You got an honest man here doing business. I want to thank you for being a great guest. Thanks to all of you. Appreciate you watching my show. 69th show in the hopper. Next week, I have a good friend of mine who's a consultant on my new business, Coliseum Combat Zone, LLC. How many 68-year-olds like me do you know is an MMA promoter? My first event is September 14th. We're going to talk about him being a sound engineer for Rush, Ted Nugent, Judas Priest, Scorpions, many others, and you'll see it next week, the next 2 weeks.
Thanks for having me. If you know any real estate agents you can refer me to, that's a good referral.
I know a couple.
Okay.
See you next time.